Hello, this is Mark Ford for the LA Sentinel and LA Watts Times. Police Chief Charlie Beck met with the Los Angeles Sentinel and various community leaders to discuss the details regarding former LAPD officer Christopher Dorner. Dorner led LAPD and surrounding law enforcement in one of the largest manhunts in LA history. Dorner died in a gunfight with San Bernardino authorities on February 13th. Now community leaders want to know about the accusations of racism Dorner cited in his manifesto and how much access they will have with the LAPD investigation.
Was there something that the public was not aware? Was there something the public was not aware of that would lead us to better understand this fellow?
Make sure that we put the facts on the table to make sure that that's the key element that people understand. That was not the LAPD that did the tactical maneuvering, burning down the cabin.
These kind of charges, especially when there's so much hinge on credibility, very often go to boards of rights, and the credibility of the individuals involved is questioned in front of your panel with attorney representation on both sides, and that's what happened in this case. And we'll talk. You know, I don't want to prejudge what Mr. Chale's report will put forward. So, you know, I think having said those things is enough right now to give you a flavor of what the scope of what was going on in Christopher's life at that time.
The question everybody has is, well, how does a person like this get on the force, and why is the department giving them a gun? The second thing is this issue of the truck in Torrance. So it was helpful to know that about San Bernardino and the distinction from LAPD, but the truck had several bullet holes in it. It's still unclear to me whether that was Torrance police, LA police, or if it was LA police, why they were discharging weapons in Torrance and all that. So if you could shed some light on that too, it'd be very helpful.
And so that first night, I find out about the manifesto. I know about the shootings in the night, and we deploy officers to protect these families. And that happened all over the region. There were eventually we ended up with over 50 families. That first night, all this information is it's not coming clear to people, and that's just because it's not that there's not mechanisms for that. It's that when these things are rapidly unfolding, there's not a lot of fact, and so the description of the truck was out. The officers knew that there had been two sets of officers assaulted with assault type weapons. One of them was dead. Two of them severely wounded, and so these officers are in a heightened state, probably never been in that kind of state in their career doing this, and they made a tragic misidentification of two women in a pickup truck, and that led to an officer involved. Now, all those things I said do not negate or rationalize what they did. I have removed those officers from the field. They will not go back into the field until the investigation is completed, and they may not go back then. I mean, I'm not prejudging. I have issues with the things that happen. Unfortunately, as in all things in life, I don't get to hire perfect human beings, and sometimes they make mistakes. And I thank God that those women weren't more severely and certainly, you have to know that this weighed very heavy on me. And so we'll take appropriate action, and that action will be transparent. It'll be reviewed by the district attorney. It'll be reviewed by the police commission. The police commission will make the final determination after the district attorney has reviewed it. It's a horrible tragedy that while I can understand how the circumstances led to it, I certainly cannot condone the act.
To health issue, that is there any assistance that you provide for persons like that you determine cannot make it, or was there any kind of evaluation? Because when he's turned out, as you said, into the larger community, someone who has that kind of training, has that kind of attitude, the community is at risk.
Well, you know, we have a full staff of psychologists that work for the department. Almost 20 psychologists that work full time, and as a matter of fact, they've been extremely busy over the last couple of weeks dealing with the aftermath of all of this. Anytime an officer is involved in a shooting, they're mandated to go. All of the families that were in the, what we call Tier 1 here, that had full-time protection, they're mandated to go. When we terminate somebody, we offer them options, and they are still able to go post-termination. I can't order them anymore because they've been terminated. And with Christopher, you know, we are looking to see if there are things that we should have caught before. There's nothing obvious. You know, there wasn't any. You know, the boards of rights, these termination proceedings or potential termination proceedings are very emotional. Probably do about 40 a year. Obviously not everybody gets terminated. Sometimes the facts don't bear out that, and sometimes the penalty is less than termination. But you know, we try to be sensitive to the drama that attaches to that. You know, they're all people that are generally very desirous of keeping their jobs, and so we try to make sure that kind of counseling is available when they leave. And then our police union does a lot of that also. You know, they represent the officers at these hearings, and they do aftercare with the officers.
And the fact is, I've worked with this guy over here. I called him the chief, I called him my boss, and I also know his heart. And when he talks about partnering with the community and opening dialogues and being real with people, that's just not empty rhetoric, because from my chair as a law enforcement administrator, more so as a member of the black community, I test everything that he says. Because that's part of my responsibility is to weigh what he says and see whether or not that resonates and applies in the community. My commitment, along with Chief Beck's, is to ensure that dialogue, that conduit is wide, and it's real, and it has purpose, and that it has meaning. Because without that, we talk about it all the time in terms of community. Without the community, the police department is nothing.
Absolutely, I commit to that. You know, I am not shy when it comes to discipline. If I find somebody that is responsible, that I can hold accountable, I will. This is an important moment for the department. It's an important moment to prove that we are what we say we are. That we are an organization that believes in fairness, and we are an organization that seeks justice. And I will not let this moment pass. But first the investigation.
This has been a special report brought to you by the Los Angeles Sentinel and the LA Watts Times. For more information, log on to www.lasentinel.net or www.lawattstimes.com.